Item number 4, number 3, Meyer.
I'll just give y'all a real quick rundown of the projects we have going on currently. Phase 2 sewer rehabilitation. We've been close to being finished for a while now. We finally going to start up the generator at the Bosworth lift station tomorrow. And after that, the project should be substantially complete. We'll enter into the 45-day lien-free period. Now, there's still some outstanding items that will need to be completed as punch list items, but as far as substantial completion, we're expecting to issue that tomorrow. The Winsboro Airport improvements. Currently, they have the stone base down. They have run into some soft areas while they were laying their stone base. Once they over-excavate those and replace them with select fill or some additional aggregate, then we can begin laying asphalt. We're expecting the contractor to come in and begin work on the fencing this week, and then begin asphalt work next week. The 2010 street improvements. The contractor is out here today to begin work on correcting the striping. However, he has an equipment problem, so we're looking for him to start that first thing in the morning, about 7 o'clock. There's still some other items, some grading around the shoulders that also need to be addressed. The industrial park street improvements, I told y'all last month that will probably be the first spring of next year before we actually begin construction on it. We are probably about 90% done with the design phase, and we're looking forward to sending that in this next month to the funding agency for their review. But we're on track to have that begin construction next spring. The 2011 street improvements, we're probably about 85 to 90% complete with design on the utilities portion of that project. We'll have that submitted to DHH for their approval, and hopefully begin construction on that in September. The streets will also be put off until the first of next year due to it's late in the year, and the utilities portion needs to be finished first. Now, that 2011 utilities also includes the utilities under the streets that will be performed in the LCDBG project, the 2010-2011 LCDBG, which we did find out this month that Winsboro was funded for the 2010-2011 LCDBG. So that's some good news. We'll begin construction on that also first of next spring. The final item on my little list here is the DOTD-TEP application. For the last couple of months, we've been looking at possibly submitting a TEP application to repair the sidewalks along Adams Street and then Common Street. What we're looking at is just rehabilitation and replacement of those sidewalks. We'll be coming back with some brick pavers, which is basically a decorative sidewalk, along with some decorative lighting and pedestrian benches along this area. I believe y'all should have received the council should have received a copy of the application previously. I sent that so that y'all would have a chance to make any comments or suggestions that y'all have on the application that was submitted. Have y'all sent a copy of that application or not? I'll get y'all another copy then. We have this application has to be submitted by the end of July. The total cost of the project, estimated cost of the project, is around $288,000. Of that, now y'all are probably familiar with the way the DOTD-TEP program works. That's how we did the Average Street Sidewalk project a few years ago. That is a 95.5 grant for the construction portion, and then the town has to pay the engineering cost in addition to that. I think on this project it works out about a quarter of the cost is would need to be covered by the town, and the remainder will be funded through grant funds by DOTD. The total cost, estimated cost to be funded by the town will be about $71,000. Are there any questions about that? I'm sorry that y'all haven't had a chance to look at the application. Is there any questions that y'all have about the project in general?
Will you include your telephone number or email on the application so if we have questions individually we can contact?
Absolutely.
Okay. On the airport project, It says we had 90, they have 90 work days. How many days have we used that so far?
Well, on the airport project, we issued a stop work order. If you remember, we bid this project towards the end of last year. And due to the weather that we got, it was a wet area to begin with. Due to the weather we got, it was just impossible to do any asphalt work and do any kind of grading around that area during the winter. So we issued a stop work order until, well, after spring. It's been a couple of months ago, I believe, that we released the stop work order. Whenever the weather got drier and we had a little bit of a drought through that time for them to begin work. As far as how many days we've actually used, I really don't have a feel for it. We're getting, if we're not at 90 days, we're getting pretty close to it. Now they do have some weather days built in, if we have had any inclement weather in the time that they actually began construction. Yes.
I have a few questions on the street project.
Yes.
How many times have we been awarded a grant from the LCDBG?
If I'm not mistaken, I believe this is the second LCDBG grant that we've got. Yes, sir. That's we have been able to. This is the second LCDBG grant. We've gone for the maximum each time, which is $600,000.
Where would we be if we had not received this particular grant? We're saying, and I'm hearing that basically we're on schedule. But now, would we be on schedule if we had not had assistance with this money?
Well, what we've been able to do with the CDBG grant, it's not that we have done more streets, it's that we've done more reconstruction on streets. We performed, the CDBG grant was done for the worst areas, and we performed additional reconstruction in those areas, and basically put forth a better product rather than stretching it over doing more streets. We've been putting together a better product and a longer term solution rather than simply overlaying some streets that were on the borderline. We were able to reconstruct those. That's where that money has gone. Also, we've been able to do additional utility improvements with that money. When we initially did the cost estimate, we had about $400,000 to do all the streets in town, about $400,000 in utility portions. We've been able to redo existing additional utilities and replace service lines which were shallow underneath the road or that would have caused us problems in the future. That way you aren't coming back, a couple of years after you have a new street and replacing services.
The project itself has a basic limitation or is scheduled to be completed, I believe it's 2017?
Yes, sir. I believe the sales tax ends June 30th of 2017.
That's about 5 years from now.
Yes, sir.
During that time period, how many opportunities will we have possibly to apply for grants of this nature that will assist us in the completion of this particular project?
Yeah, we will be eligible for award for LCBG award in 2013 and then again in 2015.
What amounts? Do you have any idea?
If you're going in streets, the maximum is $600,000.
So that's 2 times?
Yes, it's a possibility that the city could be funded 2 more times with CDBG money.
The projected date then, as far as you're concerned, as for what you see, based on the way we're moving and the dates that you have set here, do you think we will ascertain the goal of 2017?
Preparing all streets in town?
Right.
Yes, sir. The question is not whether or not we can do the streets. The question is to what level can we do the streets. Like I said, we've been able to do additional reconstruction. If we are able to mix in some CDBG money, we can do additional reconstruction on the new portion as well.
Can we move any faster than what we're doing now?
If we do a bond issue, then yes, sir, we can do the rest of the remaining streets in town.
So let's just say we stay away from the bond issue and stay on track with the proposal that we have. Can we move any expeditiously as far as what we're doing at this particular time?
I'm not sure I'm following you.
We really have to spend it as it comes in.
Yeah, if we don't do a bond issue, we're really having to, as the money comes in, the city generates between $55,000 and $60,000 per month based on the 0.5% sales tax. and we've been able to basically just redo the streets as it comes in. We've generally been trying to keep it to averaging about one project per year. Now next year we'll have additional projects. We'll have 3 projects. That's because we had the CDBG, which was funded, also the industrial park streets, which was funded through the capital outlay FD&C grant, and then we'll have a separate grant, which is our separate project, which is paid for by the town. So we'll actually have 3 projects, which will be ongoing next year.
Which would be phase 3, that separate project funded by the tax dollars. I guess we've gone through 2
Yes, sir.
phases, so it'd be phase 3.
Yes, sir.
So, I guess what I'm hearing Mr. Dumas asking, I think I just kind of asked it, if we're able to go, if we're getting this additional money, $600,000, we get that 2 more, that's 1.2 million we get. He's asking if that money would speed this process up, relieve the taxpayers of that half cent. If we completed this project, we could probably relieve the taxpayers of that half cent. So I think that's what he's asking. And if that's any clearer, is that possible? Or as best you can tell?
And it is possible. LCDBG has been great for the city of Winsboro. They've been, like I said, they've been able to secure $1.2 million so far in LCDBG funds. The question you run into with that is, like all other federally funded programs, they're tightening their belt right now. And the question is, will CDBG be in the same position 4 years from now, 6 years from now, in order to grant us that same type of revenue stream that we've been getting? Also, we have to find low to moderate income areas, which we've done 2 applications, which we had low to moderate income areas, which increases our points and makes us eligible for CDBG funding. We've been able to do 2 of those areas, but the question is, are we running out of those areas? We've done the lower to moderate income areas, but those will only go so far.
Yeah, gotcha.
But theoretically, what you're saying here is if you go ahead and do all the streets through a bond instead of staying on a program like we have now, you're gonna have the streets completed but less quality. Is that what you're saying?
Well, not in those exact words, but the more money that you fund, the better job we can do on the streets.
Theoretically, that's what you said a while ago, that we were getting a better quality street because we were getting extra money and putting all that extra money and making our streets better.
And another reason that we've been doing more reconstruction than we initially planned is because we're in the areas that we have done are the worst case areas in the city of Winsboro. I mean, we have the western portion of town pretty much completed, which was the worst areas.
But theoretically,
Yes,
you got better.
We have been doing a better job of
putting
replacing the
the
streets.
utilities also under the street.
Yes, sir, and the utilities under the street.
So if you go in a hurry and do it, then you got a chance to come back and have to redo these streets and cutting up a new street because of utilities if you don't spend that extra money while you're going. Theoretically, am I right?
If you can do the utilities before you do the streets, you do have a better overall project.
So actually, we have a possibility of having $2.2 million better streets if we let the project run as it's going.
And like I said, the question is CDBG, if you wait for CDBG money, is the CDBG money going to be there? And also, can you find enough target areas?
Okay, thank you.
Good job.